How I became fluent in English. I've been asked by many people how I improved my English when I only passed 10th grade from a Hindi medium school. That makes me write this answer. I don't know if anyone will find this answer effective. I'm a mediocre English speaker and writer, so forgive me for my poor writing ability. But I'd love to share my experience about how I managed to sell 50 to 60 novels in Bangalore traffic every day with the power of the little English that I knew. I came to Bangalore 2 years ago in search of a job. The first 2 months I searched for a job but did not get any because of my age, 16, and my qualification, 10th grade. So I went to the nearest railway station and was recruited by a shopkeeper to sell novels and newspapers. I was ecstatic, but increasingly nervous at the same time because I had never sold anything before. Commissions were fixed by the storekeeper, 25 paise for each newspaper sold and 3 rupees for a novel. I still remember the first day when I managed to sell 12 newspapers and 2 novels in a whole day and earned 9 rupees and the next day 13 rupees. But that was insufficient to get even a single meal. Since my mom was sick and unable to work, I had to earn enough money to send home. That was indispensable and more important than feeding myself. Bangalore's weather was always cool and breezy, but I did not have warm clothes. I was feeling feverish each night, coughed a lot, and got up every morning with a headache and sore throat. I was just unable to understand what to do. For me, it was either do or die. I was completely freaked out. I had to come up with a creative way to increase the sales in order to get enough money to survive. I did not sleep the whole night. After thinking a lot, I came up with a solution. I thought I would read the novels and newspapers and tell them why they had to buy them, what some of the interesting things printed on the newspaper were that day, what the hottest news of the day was, or what the specialty of the currently in-stock novel was. Everyday newspapers were coming in at 4 a.m. I woke up around 4:30 a.m., read all of the 3 best-selling English newspapers, and reviewed once more before leaving for the job. I used to read novels at night and in the middle of the job. In the beginning, my English was so poor that it made people laugh. Some people encouraged and supported me. Others laughed and disheartened me by saying something that generally hurt. I took it personally, but always apologized, saying, "I speak a little English, but I'm always improving," and I used it as an opportunity to try harder. My fear of speaking strengthened. Remember, when you don't face your fears, they only get worse. Trust me, it's better that you speak English confidently and make a million mistakes than if you speak perfectly but sound unsure of yourself, shy, or scared. People will feel much more comfortable if you are able to communicate openly. I got so many trusted customers who just took my reviews before buying novels. People slowly started appreciating my hard work. I increased my sales and I started getting enough money to have food 2 times a day and save some to send home. After a few months, I got shifted to one of the roads with the busiest traffic in Bangalore to sell only novels and no newspapers. I was almost doing well at the railway station, but I shifted. I was quite disappointed for some time. I lost my permanent customers. After I shifted to the new place, I got enough experience on how to make more sales. My target was to read at least 1 novel in 2 days. In the beginning, it took a lot of time, about 6 days to finish a novel. I got a dictionary, a notebook, I call it a vocabulary notebook, and a diary. Whenever I read or heard new words, I wrote it down in my vocabulary notebook so that I could prime my brain to learn that word at some point in the future. I also wrote down how to use that word in a sentence. That's very important. I maintained a daily diary and I wrote down whatever happened during the whole day. I used to go to work at 8 a.m. and come back at 8 p.m. Every 10 minutes there was a red signal for 2 minutes, and these 2 minutes were my sales time. I still remember I used to get around 60 opportunities, 2 minutes per stop every day, about 120 minutes in total, and my target was to sell at least 50 novels per day. I used to go to each car or bike guy and give them a brief about the novel and end it in a very interesting place so that if they didn't buy it that day, they would at least come back the next day if they were interested. People used to get more interested in buying novels from me because of 3 reasons. 1. They used to get honest feedback and review from me about the novel, and they knew I loved retaining my customers. 2. They liked my confidence and attitude of selling things. 3. They loved to hear my mediocre English. I improved my English talking to my customers, reading newspapers, reading novels, and writing down new words in my vocabulary notebook and maintaining a daily diary. Tip number 1. They say if you have got 10,000 words in your mind, you can write a novel. Just 10,000 words. Learn 100 words per day and you can make it in just 100 days, a little more than 3 months. It's the first step for improving your spoken English. Tip number 2. Read at least 1 newspaper every day for a year. You can definitely improve your English. So many people disagree with me, but it works. Tip number 3. Read at least 1 novel every month. Tip number 4. Try to write something every day. Tip number 5. Talk to people. Tip number 6. The human brain easily captures visual things and remembers it for a very long time. Because we see something, our brain keeps a copy of that image or visual representation. So whenever you read or do things, try to have a visual representation of it so you can remember it for a long time. For example, if we consider a word, banana, our brain exactly visualizes the image of a banana. Because we read it, saw it, ate it, and we already have the image in our brain, so we could remember it easily. If I say the name of the Titanic movie, I hope you realize that your brain visualized just now after seeing the name Titanic. But if I asked you what your Gmail password was a year ago, and if you changed it 4 or 5 times, most people won't remember it because we do not have the visual image of the password in our brain. So we have forgotten. Tip number 7. Love English. Live English. Dream English. Hope this helps.